Yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Barbershop Chop, and welcome to my show. Today, we're going to be talking about this Killer Mike video that I saw on Twitter. It just popped up on my feed. It's on a show called The Arena, which is on TNT. It was a wonderful video. He spoke about some financial principles that I think we can all learn from. And my God, the video was just absolutely great. He spoke about his time when he used to work at AutoZone, making $200 a week. He spoke about what he did with that money. He spoke about how he banked it differently. And he also speaks about how he saved money, how he can flip money, and probably has a negative connotation. He can invest that money to make more money, instead of flipping. I don't really like that word too much in this video. How you can make more money from the money that you do make, how he stopped getting ripped off by the check cash in place. And man, he just spoke about all these financial principles that I think we can definitely use. He spoke about how he got out of debt, how he doesn't buy, well, just till this year, he did not buy he bought his wife, I should say. He bought his wife a new car. Now, I don't know much about Killer Mike. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I do, but I do know everything that I've seen about him has been nothing but positive. Now, I don't listen to the guy's music. I don't have an album. I probably ain't listened to one full song, but everything that I have seen about this guy just seemed like a good, genuine guy. And I like that every time I see him speak, I think he's on a Breakfast Club one time. Saw him speak on a Breakfast Club one time, and it was a great interview. And man, I just can't wait till you guys see this video. He just seems like an all-around good guy, and I can't wait to see what he's talking about.
Okay, so a lot of times they're arrogant to get a lot of money and then say, well, this is what you should do with money. So I'm always speaking from the standpoint of a guy who worked at AutoZone for $200 a week, sold cheap marijuana on the side, and tried to figure out saving his own life so the streets wouldn't take me under. So
I think it's a wonderful thing that Killer Mike is going to be giving his viewpoint from a disadvantage, from in his standpoint, of course, a disadvantaged black man who only made $200 a week at AutoZone. That's no money, right? You're not going to pay any bills like that. So with that kind of money, you're probably still living with, you got a really, really cheap apartment, which you probably can't afford that, especially depending on where you're from. You may be living with parents, you may be living with some friends or something of that nature. So I think it's good that he's going to be speaking from a standpoint of disadvantaged black man, because I think that's going to relate to a lot of people. And then he's going to expand on that. And then later he's going to be talking about how he manages his money and how he doesn't buy new vehicles and things of that nature. So let's continue this video. This is wonderful so far.
would take me under. So let me give you the advice that my grandparents gave me. Live within or below your means, Michael. If you can afford a $1,500 studio apartment, then you need to be figuring out how to find an $800 or $900 apartment. If you can afford to put down on a car and pay notes for 4 years, you can afford to save up for 2 years and buy a used car. Until this year,
man, I'm so happy that he brought up cars, because the average car payment right now, I believe, is around $550 for an average of 7 years, and I think that's just asinine. And so one of the things that keeps us, especially in the black community, one of the biggest things outside of education, that's a whole nother subject, but car loans and car debt is something that keeps us very, very poor, just to be honest. We can go out and, we want to drive a new Mercedes, we want to drive this, we want to drive that. Is it really worth it when you have to shell out $550, an average of $550? That's not even including a luxury car. Luxury car, you can pay $600, $700. Is it really worth paying $550 a month, which is almost, let's see, what's that, a year? Around $7,000, $8,000. I think that's just insane. Where you could buy a cash car, but you could buy a cash car and use that $7,000 to invest, put into the IRA, put into your 401k, save for retirement. You can do whatever you want. Really, just invest with it. I think it's just crazy how societal pressure, for some people, societal pressure has some people buying cars that they cannot afford, and they feel peer pressure to drive a nice car. They feel peer pressure to get into a nice apartment that they cannot afford, a nice luxury apartment, because that's all that they're building around here, especially in Dallas. That's all they're building is luxury apartments. Where the minimum cost is what $1,200-$1,300. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. That's a lot of money. And you're gonna really have to work to earn that kind of money, and so that ties back into the education debt. But I think it's just crazy how the average American shells out $550 per month on, and that's not even including the insurance, the wear and tear, depending on what brand you drive. So if you drive a luxury car, you may be paying more in maintenance. And then you have the gas and the tolls and all this kind of stuff. You know, just transportation in general, you're going to be paying up to, let's say, upwards of $700-800 total, including the gas and insurance. Sometimes even $1,000 a month just on transportation. I think that's just crazy when that money can be used for much more important things, especially within the black community. So I think that's something that definitely needs to be talked about and definitely be fixed. And I'm glad that Killer Mike is really sharing his viewpoint on it, because that's something I definitely agree with. I don't believe in really. I just paid off my car like 2 weeks ago, and I would never have a car payment ever again in my life, because I don't think it. I hated shelling that payment out. I hated it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a big fan of it. You know, every time you get paid, you have automatic drafts just coming out of your check, you know, $400 or $500. And I just wasn't a fan of that. I wanted to keep the money in my pocket. So I definitely advise you guys, if you can, you know, avoid car notes. And he's going to go more into it, but avoid car notes and buy cash cars. And don't let societal pressure force you to buy something that you can't afford or that you have to make extended payments on. So I'm glad Killer Mike has mentioned that.
Used car. Until this year, my wife and I only bought pre-owned cars. I bought her first new car this year, and that was after I got a huge payment. And when we got a huge payment, my wife took a lion's share of that payment, pivoted directly to our financial counselors and said, put this money up and we'll come back and visit in 10 years. We're gonna live at and below our means. And I learned to do that by working at AutoZone. I lived in the apartment I can afford. I drove cars that I could fix myself or pay my uncles to help fix. And I did that. And a lot of people say that you can't do that, but you can. You can by doing things like what? Banking different. Well, how do I bank when I worked at AutoZone when I lost my bank account for a month? I had to go to check cashing places. I had to go to liquor stores. So to cash my $200 check, it would cost me $40, 20%. So when I got an opportunity to partner with something, say like a Greenwood, right? Greenwood is a banking platform that's coming to market in a few months. And with Greenwood, if I'd had Greenwood at that time, my check would have came straight to my bank account. It would have jumped straight on my card, and I could have used my card and not had a check cashing place rip me off for $40. So that's a way that...
Now, many people these days have, now he's speaking of something that's, I'm not going to say in the past, but I believe it's, depends. It depends on where you work at. It could be pretty antiquated for some people, depending on where you work at. Now, what's more common is, you know, direct deposit, EFT and ACH and all that good stuff, where it just goes straight into your bank account. So as soon as you get a new job, you may have to, you fill out a, a direct deposit form. You get a letter from your bank or whatever, and you say, hey, this is my routing number and my checking account number. And it just goes straight to your account. That's for most people, I believe. But I think also a lot of jobs have, those little payment cards or whatever the case may be. So Killer Mike is speaking from his experience, but I believe that a lot of that is pretty antiquated for a lot of people, where it comes, you're getting actual physical checks where you have to go to a check cashing place. Now, I will say it just totally depends on where you work at. If you work in any kind of corporate world, this is definitely out of the question. But he was saying he's working at AutoZone. I think even AutoZone is to the place where they have direct deposit now. I'm pretty sure that a lot of, it costs businesses more money when they have to shell out physical checks or whatnot. So, cost them supplies and paper and check stubs and all that stuff. So it's much cheaper for them to just, apply direct deposit. People sign up for it or whatever the case may be. So this is pretty antiquated for a lot of people, but I still think it's important that he is talking about banking differently. Now, of course, you have different options. You can go to a major bank if you want to. Just be aware of the fees and the overdraft fees. Read before you sign. And also, you have, what do you call them? What do you call them at like the grocery stores? Community. I can't think about it. You guys let me know in the comment section. You see them at like Kroger and things of that nature, like convenience bank. I can't think of what they're called. It just slipped my mind. But you guys let me know. But it's those. You can also store your money there, and they're a little bit more community, customer friendly, or whatever the case may be. Not these big corporate banks. So you guys let me know in the comment section. I can't think of what it's called, but anyways, let's continue the video.
$40. So that's the way I'm trying to contribute back to that kid that's out there working at AutoZone now, or working at O'Reilly's, or trying his best to raise a family, to simply say, if you get control over that $40, that now allows you to save, and that 45 times becomes 200 bucks. That 200 bucks becomes a pair of Nikes you buy and you resell for 280 bucks. That 280 bucks becomes an investment in a shoe cleaning service that you have in the mall. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be making some, and not hard like incredibly difficult to do. It's hard to resist the temptation to buy things that make you feel good. And you have to just simply resist the temptation and really, really wait and be focused and disciplined, much like an athlete on and off the court. And if you can discipline your mind to do that, I promise you that although you may not have a Taj Mahal in 20 years, you will have a piece of land or ownership or something to leave to your family, and you can see yourself as a cornerstone in the legacy of wealth building versus just a victim of others that have done.
I'm glad Killer Mike spoke about the $40 that he saved from the check cashing place that he didn't have to give to them anymore. And so any money that you guys have left over, I think it's really important that you balance it in between investing. Yes, we can still spend on consumer items such as Nikes tennis shoes and jewelry and things of that nature. But also you definitely want to balance that with saving, and you definitely want to purchase things that make you money, which is investing. Purchase things that make you money, such as equipment. If you want to start a new business, definitely improve your hygiene. Something that anything. Get some cavities removed. Whatever you need to do, definitely invest in yourself. Whether it's new clothes that's going to help your clothing game, or whatever the case may be, definitely invest in yourself. It's very, very important because perception does matter. And so any money that you have left over, and definitely use that to your advantage. And definitely work a lot. I mean, I'm just going to say it straight up. Work a lot. More work. Balance the work and the play. Let me say it that way. Balance the work and the play. Work hard, play hard. Because the harder you work, you will feel better about playing hard, because the lazy people just don't win. It's just that simple. There's no way else you can spin it. Lazy people don't win, but the producers, the people who work a lot, they win, and you can expect you'll just feel better. The more you work, the more you produce, you'll just feel better because you feel like you're actually contributing, and you feel better about spending money on new shoes because you earn new shoes or jewelry or a new car or whatever the case may be, cash, because you earned it. And it feels better to earn something than just to be given something. So, man, this is a great video by Killer Mike. I definitely want to talk about finance and stuff like that on future videos. But I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section about this video. If you want to add anything or anything of that nature, just let me know in the comment section, and I'm gonna get to y'all later. Peace out.